I am of Germanic descent. My great-grandmother came over from Germany. We moved to Pennsylvania. I got moved down to Virginia, and now I live out in Texas. I am married and I have 2 kids, and yes, my husband is also pagan. So I'm going to start with kind of an anecdotal tale about my great-grandmother, who was a very outspoken witch. She was known to be very fiery. I remember my great-grandmother had the police called on her for something, probably for killing cats or whatever, because like I said, she was outspoken. And of course, you have to understand, this is like in the 50s and 60s, and people were like, no, you just don't do that. So the police showed up at her house, and she got really upset, like to the point that she actually chased this man, this police officer, down the road with her broomstick. Because of that, I guess my grandmother then kind of went into hiding. She was a Christo-pagan. She was very much into Christianity, and I guess it's because of the pagan relations that she found in the faith. My mother, like, told my grandmother basically to not teach me anything. Don't encourage this. Like, and I guess it was a lot of it because of the way she grew up, and she saw the way that my grandmother, my great-grandmother were treated, and she just didn't think that that was something that I should have to go through. Unfortunately for my mom, she married my dad. My dad was very much into psychics and tarot and all these really cool and outlandish things, and he's not Christian. Like, because of him, we pretty much stopped going to church when I was 11, and that was also the year when my dad bought me my first divination deck. So it was definitely it wasn't nearly as difficult as a lot of people have, as a lot of teenagers these days even that I've read into. I know that I had friends in high school that were pagan, and some of them even had an easier time than I did. Like, I actually have a best friend that whose mom really took me under her wing. And she really is the one, after my grandmother died, who kind of pushed my beliefs. And through them, I actually learned about Buddhism and things like that. And I would go to their Buddhist meetings and prayers. And I had a lot of fun doing that. But, you know, heathenry is just where it is for me. And I don't see anything wrong with that at all. My husband is not the same kind of pagan that I am. Now, since I grew up on the East Coast, exposed to pretty much only the European side, it's definitely it tends to be high ceremonial. They have all these expensive things where they use wands and crystals and things like that. And that's what I was used to until I moved out here to Texas, where I met my husband. Out here, it's a lot more folk magic. You find a lot of voodoo, a lot of Santo, the Palo, and everything like that. And I didn't even have that in Virginia. It just wasn't really there. And my husband really wanted me to get into Palo because that's what he's into. I've been scratched, and it's that, you know, it's not my thing. I don't feel that connection to it the way that I feel connection to my roots. And I don't see anything wrong with that. My husband is very happy with what he does, and he feels in his heart of hearts that it is where he should be. And I do plan on bringing my children up in it. We're going to kind of expose them to it. We've already started exposing them to it because we do kind of know what's going on. Of course, we can get into that later, as well as all the other religions that I learned and my feelings and thoughts on them. Follow the Wiccan Read. I'm not Wiccan. I do not believe in karma. I'm not somebody who really believes in reincarnation. That's also not a very heathen belief. They believe that you go to hell, you stay there. You live out your life the way that you were living it before. You don't really get reborn. I don't use crystals. I just never had that kind of connection to them. I don't do much as far as moon magic or moon rituals. It wasn't a very heathen thing, and I do have a very great reverence as far as moon worship and things like that, because of course the moon does play some kind of a role in heathenry. A lot of my magic courses do not take into consideration the Wiccan Read and things like that. I do kind of footnote it every so often. I do love magic because it's just what I'm good at. To be very honest with you, I'm really good at it. I'm really good whenever it comes to herbs and things like that, so I do a lot of kitchen witchery. There's people who are a lot more knowledgeable on that than I am, so I kind of take that as a backseat, but I do it. I don't use runes simply because I have a lot of other divinations going on, and I feel like runes are going to, they would end up taking the back seat, and I don't want to do that to them because I have such a high amount of respect for them. I just don't feel that I could give them the attention that they deserve. It's definitely interesting being married to somebody who practices a different form of paganism than you, but I do like how we find common ground. Like, he asked me about my herbal knowledge, and I'll ask him some stuff. Me and my husband have both studied other kinds of worship where we looked into saints like Saint Cyprian, all sorts of really cool, really eccentric kind of pagan religions, or what I would consider eccentric, but they're all very much folk-based. And it's like diving into something that I can't get enough of. I just love paganism, and I love learning about all the different types and all the different sects and things like that. It's just, you can never get bored with it. So if you have any questions, please feel free to comment on my blog, or feel free to comment on the video. I have no problem answering you guys. I do try to answer people back within the day, so yeah, for sure. As long as you guys don't mind hearing my kids in the background, subscribe, keep watching, look forward to it. I look forward to it.